Hello YouTubers! Today's unboxing is Resident Evil Village for the PlayStation 4. Before I start the unboxing, I want to show you part of my collection. Resident Evil 1 was released in March 22nd, 1996. This game was the game that changed it all. This is the best survival horror game back in 1996. When the game was released, it was amazing. It was one of a kind. I believe it was also a game of the year that year. I really enjoyed this one. I was a kid. I was probably 9, 8 years old around that time. I still remember playing this game. I really enjoyed it. I remember playing with my cousin and we beat the entire game. We had so much fun. Highly recommended. Also was released, this is the original release, this is the long case, that's how the people call it, the long case of the Resident Evil game, and also it was released as Director's Cut and Greatest Hits the following year, and this is a DualShock version of that game. Later, 1 year later, Resident Evil 2 was released, and this was for the PlayStation. This game was another awesome game. I really enjoyed it, highly recommended. Was released on January 21st, 1998. And the following year, October 31st, 1999, the same game was released for the Nintendo 64. For the first time, it was the only game of Resident Evil that was released for the 64. On September 22nd, 1999, Resident Evil 3 was released. Another awesome game. I highly recommend. All these three games are very awesome and you must play these games. In the year 2000, Resident Evil Code Veronica was released for the Sega Dreamcast, and because Sega wanted to have their own Resident Evil, Capcom decided to make a Resident Evil exclusive for the Sega Dreamcast. But that was going to be the sequel of Resident Evil 2. At the end, they made a deal with Sony and they kept the number Resident Evils for the PlayStation systems. At the end, Capcom decided to name this Resident Evil Code Veronica instead of Resident Evil 3. The game was released exclusive for the Dreamcast in the year 2000. The following year, because the Dreamcast didn't sell well, the same game was released for the PlayStation 2, but for this one they call it Resident Evil Code Veronica X. It's because they have new videos and most of the game is still the same, but they just added a few things. This game was released on August 21st, 2001. Another awesome game. I highly recommend. It was one of the best games back for the Sega Dreamcast. The following year, in 2002, the Greatest Hits was released for the PlayStation 2. And by the way, there are a couple of arcade games that were released for the PlayStation. The first one is Resident Evil Survivor. It was released on August 30, 2000. And that game, it was a spin-off of Resident Evil. And then in the year 2001 in Japan, it was released Resident Evil Survivor 2 Code Veronica. It has parts of Code Veronica of this game, but that one is an arcade game. And it was only released in Japan and Europe. It never came to America. The following year, in 2002, March 22nd, 2002, Resident Evil Remake was released for the Nintendo GameCube. So Capcom and Nintendo made a deal to port all these Resident Evil games to the Nintendo GameCube, and they made an exclusive Resident Evil 0, and also they remake Resident Evil 1 for the Nintendo GameCube. The same year, in 2002, on November 12, 2002, Resident Evil was released. This game for a while was exclusively for the Nintendo GameCube. Later, Capcom released this game for other platforms. Basically, all the Resident Evil numbered are very good games, or actually one exception, Resident Evil 6. The next one, Resident Evil 2, was released on January 14, 2003 for the Nintendo GameCube, also ported from the original game, and the same year, one day later, January 15, 2003, was released Resident Evil 3 for the Nintendo GameCube. December 3rd, 2003 was released Resident Evil Code Veronica X. The following year, on March 31st, 2004, Resident Evil Outbreak was released. This was exclusive game for the PlayStation 2. Just like Nintendo had their exclusive Resident Evil, then Capcom made an exclusive Resident Evil spin-off for the PlayStation 2. And this is a good game. I highly recommend. It sold millions of copies, and that's why we have a great Greatest Hits edition. There is also a black label edition for this game, and it's a really good game. By the way, there is also Resident Evil Outbreak 2. It was released the following year on April 26, 2005. And also there is a Resident Evil Gaiden for the Game Boy Color. It was released on June 3rd, 2002. That one is another good game. I highly recommend. Now, right now it's very expensive. I played in an emulator back in the days and I really enjoy it. It's a good game. I don't have it here with me. Later in June 17, 2003, Resident Evil Dead Aim was released for the PlayStation 2. It was only for that system and it's also a spin-off of the series. In January 11, 2005, Resident Evil 4 was released exclusively for the Nintendo GameCube. It was only exclusive for a few months because Nintendo made a deal with Capcom, but the problem was that the GameCube didn't sell well, so it was not convenient for Capcom to keep one game exclusively for the Nintendo GameCube. So it was only exclusive for a few months. October 25th, 2005, Resident Evil 4 was released for the PlayStation 2, and this game was the one that sold millions of copies. It was such an awesome game. I think this is the best Resident Evil game ever made so far. It's going to be hard to make a better game than this. This is example of how a video game should be made. It's a masterpiece. I think it's one of the best survival horror video games ever made, and it's been ported to so many platforms. The following year, on February 7, 2006, Resident Evil Deadly Silence was released for the Nintendo DS. This is a ported version of Resident Evil 1 for the Nintendo DS. It's a good game, by the way. If you have a chance, you can give it a try. I also enjoyed that one. Resident Evil 4 had a Wii version. It was released on May 31st, 2007. If you have a chance, you can pick it up and try to play it with the nunchuck and also the Wii remote. And you can also play it with the classic controller. The following year, on November 13, 2007, Resident Evil The Umbrella Chronicles was released for the Wii. This game is also a first-person shooting game. It's also a good game. I highly recommend this one. Then Nintendo ported the Resident Evil 1 and 0 to the Nintendo Wii, and the first one that was released was on June 23rd, 2009, Resident Evil Archives. Resident Evil 1 was released for the Wii, and also around the same time in that year, Resident Evil Archives 0 was released for the Nintendo Wii. On November 17, 2009, Resident Evil The Dark Side Chronicles. This is another awesome game. If you haven't played it, give it a try. It's a shooting game. You can play it in a co-op mode with your friend, and it's a really fun game. In March 13, 2009, Resident Evil 5 was released for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. This was another awesome game. I really enjoyed this one, and the best part of this game is the mercenaries. If you finish a game, you unlock the mercenaries and you can play it with your friend. It's a very challenging gameplay. The following year, on March 9, 2010, Resident Evil 5 Gold Edition was released for the PlayStation 3 and also the Xbox 360. This is a complete version of the game. It has a new chapter. It's a very nice game. Then the mercenaries from these games was very popular. That Nintendo on June 2nd, 2011 released Resident Evil The Mercenaries 3D for the Nintendo 3DS. This is another fun, awesome game, very challenging, and you can play it with your friends. I highly recommend this one. On September 8, 2011, Resident Evil Revival Selection was released for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. This game contains a high-definition version of Resident Evil Code Veronica X and Resident Evil 4. This game was released physically in Japan and for the rest of the world was only digital. On March 20, 2012 was released Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. It was released for the 360 and also for the PlayStation 3. I didn't like this game much, so I do not really recommend this game. It's just a spin-off of the series. On June 26, 2012, Resident Evil Chronicles HD Selection was released for the PlayStation 3. The physical version version was released only in Japan. Here in America, we only received the digital version. This game contained a high-definition version of Resident Evil The Umbrella Chronicles and Resident Evil The Dark Side Chronicles, only released for the Nintendo Wii. On October 2nd, 2012, Resident Evil 6 was released for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. This game really disappointed. Capcom decided to turn this game into an action game instead of a survival horror game, and at the end this was the final product and I didn't really enjoy it much. So I think from the Resident Evil number, this is the worst game, and it's also very long. They also released an archive version of this game, Resident Evil Archives, that includes the remastered version of Code Veronica, Resident Evil 4 high definition version, Resident Evil 5 the Gold Edition, Resident Evil 6, and Resident Evil Degeneration Movie. It was kind of a special edition of Resident Evil 6, and it was released for the 360 and also PlayStation 3. On February 7, 2012, Resident Evil Revelation was released for the 3DS. This is another awesome game. I highly recommend this one. I really enjoyed it. And this game was very popular, that initially was only for the 3DS, but later they released the same game for the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3, and then later was ported to the new generation, the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. This one was released on May 21st, 2013. 2 years later, on March 18, 2015, Resident Evil Revelation 2 was released for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One. It was also released for the PC, and it's a really good game. I really enjoyed this one. For the first time I was able to play with Barry. This one is Resident Evil Revelations Collection for the Nintendo Switch. It was released on November 28, 2017. This is a collection of these two for the Nintendo Switch. If you haven't played this game, you can play it in a portable mode. It's a really good game, highly recommended. On October 29, 2019, Resident Evil Triple Pack was released for Nintendo Switch. This one included Resident Evil 4 High Definition, Resident Evil 5, and Resident Evil 6. So another option to play this game on your Nintendo Switch. It was a very good option. And also there was a Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 0 that was released for the Nintendo Switch as well. So I don't have that one, but you can give it a try. It will be nice to play it in a portable mode. On January 25th, 2019, Resident Evil 2 Remake was released for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, also for the PC. This was another awesome game. It was a remake of the original game, and this is an example of how a remake should be done. Very awesome. I really enjoyed it. Highly recommended. The following year, April 3rd, 2020, Resident Evil 3 Remake was released for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, also for the PC, and this game disappointed because they made such an awesome game on this one, an awesome remake, that they had a masterpiece. Resident Evil 3 is a masterpiece, you know, and they already had basically the raw material to make an awesome remake, but they just didn't make it right. They rushed to make this game that it didn't look a complete game. I didn't really enjoy this one as much as this one, but you can give it a try. You may like it. Later, Resident Evil 7 on January 24, 2017, Resident Evil 7 was released. I have the collector's edition for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and my game is inside that collector's edition and it's already stored, and that's why I didn't bring it here for the unboxing. That one is a really awesome game. Highly recommended. Before you play The Village, play that game. June 21st, 2016, Umbrella Corps was released for the PlayStation 4 and Windows. That game really disappointed. It was a multiplayer shooting game that didn't really sell well, and it's not really a good game. It's a spin-off of the game, but I didn't really enjoy it. It's not worth it to give it a try because it's not really a good game. On May 7, 2021, Resident Evil Village was released for the PlayStation 5 and also the Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and also Xbox Series S. And PlayStation 4, of course. That's the unboxing that I'm gonna do later. The price of this collector's edition for any system here in the United States is $219.99, and it's only available at GameStop. The two digital pre-order bonuses for this game is Mr. Raccoon Weapon Charm and the Survival Resource Pack. Also, if you pre-order the deluxe edition at Best Buy, you will receive an Steelbook for free. I am giving away my pre-order bonus for the Xbox version. Here is the code. Good luck to the first person who redeemed it. And finally, congratulations to Alex Saldivar. He won my Facebook page contest. Send me a private message to my Facebook page and I will give you the gift card. Finally, in my hands, here is Resident Evil Village Collector's Edition. This is for the PlayStation 4. It's rated M, made by Capcom, and as you can see, Capcom highlighted number 8 from Village because this is the 8th game of this series. Here is the back of the box where we can find more information about this awesome game. Fear surrounds you. Fight for survival in a village filled with unspeakable horror and vicious creatures. One player, 30 GB minimum, DualShock 4, PlayStation 4 Pro Enhanced. This game comes with a reversible cloth map, Resident Evil Village Deluxe Edition, Steelbook, Deluxe Edition DLC voucher. Deluxe Edition also includes a Samurai Edge, handgun, Mr. Everywhere, weapon charm, visual filter, save room music, save point skiing, digital artbook, and higher difficulty unlock. 12-inch Chris Redfield figurine, collector's artbook, and premium packing. Here is the top of the box, and as you can see from the design, it seems to be a suitcase because of this handle. Here is the bottom of the box where you can see the design again, and this number 2106112. I don't know exactly what this number is. This is the left side of the box where you can see a poster, the Porter Royal Hotel, and here is a train ticket, Seaboard Line. This is the right side of the box where you can see a number 27504, Imperial Freightage. Let's open the box and find what is the content inside. Wow, check this out. Awesome. Here is the Steelbook. Very nice. I really love this Steelbook. Amazing design. And let's check out the spine of the Steelbook. You can see the name Resident Evil Village. Awesome. I really love that because some Steelbooks don't even have the name of the game on the spine. Here in the back, we can see the awesome design. Very nice. Let's open it. And there you go. There is no art inside the Steelbook. And here it says Steelbook. Very nice. You can also get this Steelbook if you pre-order the deluxe edition of this game of the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, or Xbox from Best Buy here in the United States. You get this as a pre-order bonus. And here is this awesome deluxe edition of Resident Evil Village for the PlayStation 4. Mature, Capcom. Very nice. Let's check out the back. Fear surrounds you. Fight for survival in a village filled with unspeakable horrors and vicious creatures. One player, 30 GB minimum, DualShock 4, PS4 Enhanced. This is a not for resale game because it came in the collector's edition. And this is the NTSC version of this game. Let's open it. Very nice. Here is Resident Evil Village. I really love that. Very nice design. This is the deluxe edition of this game. And the Trauma Pack is also as a DLC code. I'm gonna give away this code because I already have mine from the PlayStation 5. So there you go, guys. The first person who redeems this code will get it. And here is the reverse Resident Evil, and the code is in the back. I'm giving away this code, so the first person who redeem this code will be yours. Next, we have this cloth map. Now let's check out this awesome cloth map. Here in the back, we can see Resident Evil Village. Awesome. And let's check out the front, where we can see the different places of this awesome game. Heisenberg's Factory, House Beneviento, Monroe's Reservoir, Castle Dimitrescu, and some other places in the game that are going to help you to locate and see where things are. Let's remove this. And here is the Resident Evil Village at Traveler's Record. Let's open this Village Resident Evil Traveler's Record and see what is the content inside this artbook. Wow, there you go, Village Shadows. Very nice art. I really love art books, and I'm glad that Capcom made an art book for this game. Very cool. Here we can see characters of the game. Let's take a look at the next page, the Winter's House, which here we can see Chris and this baby Rose. Very nice. Check this out, Mia, Rose, Chris taking the baby. Wow. This game is going to be awesome. Check this out. Here are more characters of the games, and here is Ethan. I don't know when they're gonna reveal Ethan's face. I think it's about time. And here we can see Chris with this evil look for this game. I don't know, it might be part of the history of the story of the game. And let's take a look at this. We can see these new creatures that are going to be the enemies for this game. Let's take a look at the next page. We can see more of these evil creatures that they look that they practice cannibalism or something like that. You will see it in the game. And here we have more of this Resident Evil Village. That reminds me kind of Resident Evil 4. I really enjoyed that game. I think it's the best Resident Evil so far. Here we have all these enemies of this game. And here we have Castle Dimitrescu. Awesome. This is gonna be the first boss of this game. And then let's see what else is in here. We can see the boss. Here is this lady that is very tall and her 3 daughters. Here we see more of these enemies and more art. Here are statues, weapons, different keys. House Beneviento. This is the second boss of this game. We can see here these dolls, and here is this enemy which is Donna Beneviento. And here we have the next boss, Monroe's Reservoir. Let's take a look. Here is this ugly boss, and this is the part of this chapter. And here we can see more of this Monroe and its transformations. It's a very ugly creature. Here we see the transformation of Monroe, and next we're going to see Heisenberg's factory. This is the next boss. We can see here all the factory, and here is Carl Heisenberg. Here we can see the transformation of this boss, and here we have last chapter, and I hope we are finally able to play with Chris. And here we have more of these creatures and the final boss, which is Alexa. We can see here the Duke. This is the guy that sells you weapons and all this good stuff. Here are more weapons of the game, and here are the credits, and that's all for this art book. Let's remove this, and finally the Resident Evil Village statue. Here is going to be Chris. Let's take it out. of the box, and we can see that that is all inside this box. Let's open the box and find what is the content inside. Let's take out the statue from the box, and there you go, the statue of Chris. Let's remove this, and now here we go, Chris. Let's take out this protective plastic and let's check out this awesome statue. Check this out, awesome, very nice. The statue is very heavy, nice details. I'm going to assemble all this and show you guys how it looks. Here is a piece of plastic to protect the statue, and here is the gun of Chris. Awesome, it comes here, and I'm going to show you guys. Very nice gun. And here we have the base of this statue. So let's get to the base, and as you can see, I'm going to remove this. There you go. And here is the base of this statue. Very nice design. It looks awesome. Check out this logo. It looks amazing, and these pins are going to support the statue. And here in the front it says Chris Redfield. Here in the back we can see words that says Capcom 2021, all rights reserved. Now let's check out the statue in all its glory. As you can see, this statue looks awesome. Check out Chris as a character. I think it looks very mature. If you guys follow this character from the beginning of Resident Evil, you can see how it evolved when Resident Evil 1 was released, then in Code Veronica, and later in Resident Evil 5, where he was really buff and big muscles, then Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil 7, and finally Resident Evil Village. Here we can see a more mature character. He looks older and now very serious and kind of evil. I don't know what's going on with him, but the statue looks awesome. Check out these details. Wow, it just looks amazing. This is all for this unboxing. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe for more unboxings of the best collector's editions, limited editions, and the best video games. If you have any question, let me know under the comments below and I will try to answer you as soon as I can. Thank you guys, I'm going to enjoy my game and I hope you enjoy it too. I will see you guys in my next video.